It has been 4 weeks since I planted germinated pea seeds in the ground as shown in the previous episode. Their growth has been promising, slow at first, but picking up momentum. It takes a while for new plants to set up strong root systems. Once that is accomplished, they zoom up in full vigor. But peas need support. Here's how I make my own quirky pea supports using found branches and twine. It's easy. I'm Siloé Oliveira, and I like to be wise with resources, using what's naturally available as I strive for a more sustainable suburban homestead. The peas are now anywhere from 6 to 8 inches tall, and although these cages have been protecting them from the marauding groundhog, if I don't create a central structure for the peas to climb onto, they will tend to cling to the edges of the cages towards the outside, where they become easy prey to that beast's nibbling habit. If I were in a protected garden, I wouldn't need the cages, and the support I'm about to devise would suffice. In my life would be much easier, but alas, we must learn to coexist with our foes. For the support, I collect fallen branches. Since I'm in no shortage of trees, I'm guaranteed a fresh and constant supply. The best branches for this are about 1 inch in diameter. They must also be sound, not rotting away. Using branch loppers, I cut the pieces into straight segments. I try to make the pieces as long as possible, about 3 to 4 feet ideally. It is a good idea to use branches from hardwood trees, since they are more durable than softwood. Be mindful as you work with branches, especially if you do this with kids. Eye safety is paramount. Remember to cut away small twigs from the main branch pieces. I've caught my peas just in time for supporting them, before they grow too heavy for their own sake and start toppling over themselves, suffocating their foliage, preventing good airflow, increasing disease risk. Of course, that diminishes yield, and that's the last thing a gardener wants. I choose the bigger, stronger pieces first to serve as the main supports. I bury one end into the ground at an angle, being careful not to damage pea plants as I do this. I position the other pieces to create parallel triangles, almost as ribs in a rib cage. The more you can insert the branches into the ground, the more secure your support will be. Of course, this can be harder to do if you're trying to insert blunt branch ends into heavy ground. If you cut the bottom ends at a bit of an angle, that should make it easier to install them. Choosing to do this in a day when the soil is not waterlogged, but soft and slightly moist, you should have no problem. Unlike straight square stakes that you can buy at the hardware store, you can't really hammer these branches into place. They may be too curved or too thin. Once you have put the main triangular supports in place, use a straight, thinner piece to tie them together from the top as a spine connecting the ribs. To secure everything in place and to give your plants more places for the tendrils to hold on to, I use sisal or jute twine to tie everything together. While you could use a synthetic twine, I feel it's best to use a natural product that biodegrades and looks cohesive with the rustic style of the supports. Begin by tying around the main intersections of branches, securing with a strong knot. Cut the twine with a pair of scissors. Do this to the main junctions, especially in the ends. For the smaller interior joints, knot it once and then carry the twine around the branches, making sure it is always tight. There is no real science to this, as long as you make enough knots and keep the twine tight. Continue making a network of twine around the structure. You want it to look natural and web-like. Since the variety of snow peas and sugar snap peas I planted grow about to 3 feet max, I don't have to create supports that are too high. There are taller growing varieties of peas that would need bigger supports. You can use the same concept I'm showing here, but use bigger branch pieces. The pea tendrils will especially like to hold onto these as they grow upwards.
Eu vou. Stowaway, my soul, alma mater, mar é caro, objeto não declaro. Eu vou. Estou away, my soul, visto já não vi, insisto, do invisto não existo. Eu vou. Stow away my soul,
I wish I didn't have to use the outside cages in my garden and have only the rustic structures as support, but for now it works well for me.
Eu sou navegando away.
In the next episode, I'll show you how the peas have grown in these supports, and I'll share with you a recipe to make with the harvest. Remember to send in questions or comments to seedofchoice@gmail.com, and don't forget to subscribe to Suburban Homestead.